Hi there, Alan Matthews here. I'm going to talk to you today about warming up for classical guitar practice. So when we are warming up, there are four main things that we can keep in mind. And they are, first off, the obvious, warming our muscles up, our fingers up, so that we can do the good work that we want to do, so that we can avoid any kind of injuries and any kind of discomfort and really have our fingers ready to do what we want them to do. Now, that's great, but we shouldn't stop there, because also what we want to do is set our mind up so that we can have the most effective practice possible, so that we can be in the best state that we can be in to practice, to learn. And so I call this the learning state, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in just a minute. The next is to rehearse what our basic bodily state and mental state is that we ultimately want to have in our performances, even if you're only going to be performing for your cat or for just a couple of friends or something like that. It's all the same. Ultimately, what we would like to do is be able to share our music and play beautifully and be comfortable and enjoy the process of sharing our music with other people, even if it's just a few people, even if it's a lot of people. Then we just want to be able to share comfortably. And so rehearsing the mental and bodily state that we ultimately like to perform in will just train us to do that, and we'll bring that into our practice. So that's the third. And then the fourth thing that we need to do is to remind ourselves of all the fundamentals of basic movement on the guitar, of good tone production, of all these things that we can get distracted from once we're actually working on a particular exercise or a particular piece of music. So we want to just remind ourselves of the fundamentals really well during our practice, during our warm-up, so that then we can go into our practice really ready to practice. So let's take each of these one by one and do it. I'm going to save the physical warm-up, the stretching and everything, for last. And I'd like to start with getting into a really good learning state. And so to get into a learning state, is one thing that you should really remember, and that is that the state that we want is a relaxed and focused state. And so typically, before we've been practicing, we've been doing some things in our life. We've been figuring out problems, dealing with people, having conversations. Well, this is marked by a very fast-moving brain wave. It's called beta. Now, what we want is to slow that down and become more what's called alpha brain waves, alpha and theta. It's just a slower brainwave state, and we learn really easily in these states. What we want is a relaxed, calm, focused state. And the way to do that, there are many ways, but the best, easiest way is to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and start feeling into your body. So feel your hands, just notice the feeling in your hands and your feet, your eyes. Relax your muscles around your eyes. Relax the back of your tongue. All of your facial muscles, just let them relax. It feels really good as well. And so it's a really good thing. And here's the kicker, it lowers stress. All right, so the next goal of our warm-up is to mentally rehearse and to embody the state that we would ultimately like to perform in. So if you can imagine your ultimate performance goals of being able to, even if they're just very modest, being able to share a song with somebody and be really comfortable and generous and play it beautifully and really just share some beautiful music that you've been working on. Now, if you can imagine the state that you would ultimately like to be in for that, it's probably not anxious, nervous, tense. It's probably relaxed, focused, the exact same states that we've been talking about, right? So what you can do right here is, while you are in a very relaxed, focused state, then you can mentally rehearse, mentally and picture yourself performing for people in this wonderful state. So you can kind of just, and if you do this on a daily basis, you're basically programming yourself. Okay, whenever you get into this situation, this is what you do. You go into this beautiful, relaxed, focused state where you can play really well and feel really good doing it. And so just take just a second, just a few moments to visualize being in front of people in a really calm, relaxed, focused state of awareness. Great. So that's the third. The fourth is to remind ourselves of all the fundamentals and basics of tone production and movement on the guitar. So really look at, okay, how am I doing my I and M alternation? How about a couple of just arpeggios, things like this? This is actually on the instrument. And can I get a really nice tone here? So going back to the first one and stretching, let me just show you just a couple of stretches, just basic stretches that will help you to protect yourself against any sort of repetitive stress injury and simultaneously get your fingers and joints lubricated and warmed up for practice. Now, after you actually get onto the instrument after these, you still want to start off slowly, avoid any kind of really strenuous bar chord things or big stretches, anything moving too fast. Take it slow, take it easy at first, and then ramp up, just like you would if you were an athlete getting ready to run some sort of race. You'd take a couple of laps slowly, and then you would just kind of amp it up little bit by little bit. It's the exact same thing. We're just getting our muscles ready. So these are a few stretches you can do. So this first stretch is to simply push the arm out, palm out, gently use the other hand to pull this in. Gently is the operative word here. Just keep it nice and gentle, and you can just go back and forth between each hand. The next, number 2, is to do the opposite way. Palm in, gentle here. You'll feel a stretch through here, the back and the wrist. So keep that really nice. The third is to bring your palms together. Keep them here, put them close together, press in just a little bit, and then bring them down. Keep your elbows lively and up. It's not this, it's this. So keep that up and nice. If you like, you can also take individual fingers and stretch them as well. Lastly is to do the hula, and this is just a wave action, and you can just move your hands. It's not just a big paddle thing, it's with the fingers. Use the fingers so that you can actually trace. Look at this finger action here. We have 4 different things that we're looking for in our warm-up. Number 1, to stretch our muscles, do all kind of nice gentle stretching. We can also put our hands in hot water if we'd like to, and that feels really good and warms things up quickly. And the second thing is that we want to enter into a learning state by relaxing and bringing our attention to our bodies, defocusing our vision just a little bit, relaxing our tongue, so that we can enter into a nice, relaxed, focused state of awareness. The third is to visualize and kind of create within ourselves the state that we would ultimately like to embody while we are performing. So we want to go to the ultimate ideal of ourselves as musicians and embody that state. Just kind of a quick visualization, something like that. Feel it in your body the way that you ultimately want to be. Feel the ease in your joints. Feel the confidence. Feel the relaxation and the focus. Just to rehearse that. And then the fourth is to review on the instrument, once we actually get to the instrument, to review and remind ourselves of the fundamentals of really good motion and movement, and the fundamentals of tone production as well, and get a really beautiful tone so that we can take those forward into everything that we're doing. So I want to give just a couple of moments to the real fundamentals so that we can really keep that bedrock of good sound and good technique throughout everything that we're doing. I hope that helps. I hope that you have a great warm-up, and I hope that your practices go splendidly. Take care.